The final twist wasn't a surprise if you knew what the trailer was really showing. 1. The piggy bank wasn't just for show. When the trailer dropped, I bet you people barely noticed the piggy bank. It was just sitting there on a chessboard, looking like background decoration. But that odd detail turned out to be a major clue. The final game wasn't just themed like chess. It was chess, with real people as the pieces. Every capture led to a player falling straight from the sky. And the real twist? The baby was the king. Gi-hun realized it too late. Instead of using her to win, he gave up his own life to protect her. So yeah, that piggy bank wasn't a reward. It was a warning. 2. The files lied before anyone else did. In the trailer, one small moment gave away a huge secret. A machine flashes the word deceased next to player 246's name, while he's clearly still breathing. At the time, it looked like a glitch, but by the finale, it made perfect sense. Guard 11 was already messing with the system, quietly rewriting death records behind the scenes. That fake death was just a setup. 246 went underground and returned later to lead a full-blown rebellion. Turns out, the real twist wasn't who died, but how easily the system pretended they did. 3. A new kind of VIP took control. In the teaser, there's a dinner scene with the usual VIPs, rich old men in masks, but one of them isn't a man, it's a woman, the first female VIP ever shown. At first, it seemed like they added her for balance, but in the final episode, we find out she's actually in charge, a crypto billionaire from Silicon Valley, funding new offshore arenas like a startup launch. The games are no longer ruled by old money. Now they belong to tech giants, and murder is fully modernized. 4. The fire that burned the game's past. There's also a quick flash, a guard holding a lighter, standing in the archive room. Most viewers missed it, but that tiny flame wasn't just for light, it was a warning. In the finale, we see Guard 11 set the entire archive hangar on fire. Years of data, gone in seconds. Player files, game history, even the winners list, all turned to ash. It wasn't an accident, it was a reset. With no records left, the frontman is forced to rebuild from scratch in Los Angeles. 5. The cry that broke the mask. In the teaser, there's a quiet moment where a baby's cry plays over a black screen. It lasted just a second, but it wasn't random. In the final episode, Jun-hee dies giving birth during the final stages of the game. Her child survives, and for the frontman, the baby's cry triggers something buried deep. It reminds him of his own wife's death, the one memory he never escaped. He lowers his gun, removes his earpiece, and walks out. He then loads the prize money onto a debit card and sends it to Gi-hun's daughter, cutting ties with the games. The man who enforced every rule, killed for order, and led the system for 30 years, suddenly gave up control, all because one newborn reminded him he was still human. 6. Gi-hun was turned into a showpiece. In the teaser, Gi-hun is brought into the dorm inside a black coffin while still alive. This shows he is no longer treated as a player but as property. In the final episode, after falling during the human chess game, his dead body is placed into the same coffin and shown on camera so the VIPs can watch it as entertainment. His return was never meant to give him a second chance. It was meant to turn his death into part of the show. From the beginning to the end, his body is used as a final product to complete the performance. 7. The gumball decided who got to kill. A large red and blue gumball machine appears as part of the new game setup. Each player turns the handle and receives either a red or blue ball. This single action decides their role. Red means they get a knife and become a hunter. Blue means they get a key and must run or hide. In the final episodes, the surviving blue players use their keys to open the hatch on the roof and escape. Most of the red players never make it that far. Armed with knives and full of suspicion, they end up turning on each other. 8. The maze looked like a kid's room for a reason. The maze is covered in soft colors, cartoon stars, and pastel walls. It looks more like a child's bedroom than a death trap, but the design is not random. In the final episode, we see that the maze copies the exact wallpaper in Gi-hun's daughter's room. As the games are broadcast around the world, the show cuts between her real bedroom in Los Angeles and the deadly maze on the island. The set design turns childhood into a weapon and uses comfort as camouflage. 9. The clock wasn't for time, it was for control. In the trailer, a countdown clock appears again and again. It shows up in the maze, in the dorm, and next to the piggy bank. At first it looks like a basic timer, but in the final episode, we learn each countdown is part of a global system. Satellite signals connect multiple arenas running at the same time. The clock tracks when doors unlock, when traps trigger, and when players must move. It also controls when the piggy bank adds money. Every second has a purpose, and the game runs like a schedule. The system decides when people live, when they die, and when the audience gets their next scene. 10. Gi-hun was no longer playing. He was being tested. There's also a moment where a guard pushes a gun into Gi-hun's hands. He doesn't resist, but he doesn't accept it either. This small action says everything. He isn't being treated like a player. He's being studied. In the final episode, the same idea returns when the VIPs offer him the frontman's mask. They don't want him to win or survive. They want to see what he'll choose when power is handed to him. The guard's gesture was not about mercy or threat. It was a setup. From that point on, Gi-hun stops being part of the game. He becomes the experiment, and everyone else watches to see if he breaks. 11. The cult walks straight into the trap. In the teaser, player 44 is seen praying in front of a door while her group chants behind her. It looks like superstition, but they believe it works. By episode 4, we learn the chant they follow actually matches the rhythm of a hidden musical code. The code reveals which doors are safe and which are rigged, but they don't know that. They treat it like divine guidance and pick doors by feeling, not logic. Most of them fall through floor traps within minutes. The game rewards pattern recognition, not blind faith. 12. The vote was just for show. Players are first shown in the trailer standing in a line beneath O and X symbols, like they're about to vote. It looks like the same opt-out choice from Season 1, but in the final episodes, we learn this scene happens after the rebellion fails. The vote isn't real. The decision has already been made. The players are brought there to feel like they have a say, but nothing they do changes the outcome. The frontman lets the VIPs watch as people beg for a choice that doesn't exist. The setup looks democratic, but it's only act. 13. There was another island. Below the island. In the teaser, there's a fast shot of Jun-ho wearing diving gear. It's easy to miss, but it confirms there's a hidden access tunnel under the island. In the final episode, this scene connects to a hidden access tunnel under the island. Jun-ho uses it to enter from below and reach the generator room. He floods the power system and shuts down the island's core operations. Alarms go off, systems fail, and the remaining players are evacuated by force. The games end early, and the staff are forced to scatter. His plan doesn't involve a gun or a speech. He breaks the island by hitting the power. 14. Min-soo wasn't playing. He was being controlled. I don't know if you catched it or not, but there's a quick shot of Min-soo reaching towards something that isn't there. He's looking at a shadow, but acting like it's a person. In the final episodes, we learn he is seeing visions of Semi, who died earlier in the game. These are not just grief or guilt. Min-soo is going through withdrawal. The system had been giving him pills, not to help him, but to manage him. Once they stop, his breakdown becomes a form of entertainment. The VIPs start placing bets on how long he'll last. 15. The keyhole was a kill switch. There is a shot through a keyhole with a knife on the other side in the trailer. This shot introduces a rule shown clearly in the final episode. If a red player sees a blue player through a keyhole, that blue player is immediately killed. This rule is used during the maze game and explains several fast eliminations. The system uses this to speed up the hunt without warning. The only one who survives by accident is the baby. She is too short to be seen through any keyhole. The rule is simple. If they see you, you die. If they can't, you live. 16. Winners were turned into staff. In a split-second shot, the teaser shows a gray suit with a tag that reads 132. This matches the number worn by the frontman when he won the games years earlier. In the final episode, a file confirms that every third-year winner is taken out of public records and placed into the system as staff. They don't get freedom or money. They get promoted into management. This explains why the guards and frontmen follow orders without question. They already played, they already won. Now they enforce the same system that once used them. 17. The games became a franchise. In the epilogue, a recruiter plays D-Dokji on a sidewalk in Los Angeles. The hands match a shot from the teaser, showing the same move used to recruit players in Korea. This confirms the games have expanded globally. The original island is no longer the only location. The final episode reveals that new arenas are being built offshore, backed by new funding. The games now operate in multiple countries using the same rules and structure. The format is no longer hidden. It has become a repeatable system. Season 3 ends the original arc, but not the games. The franchise has already begun, and the next round is waiting in another city. That's everything the trailer warned us about, if you were watching closely. What do you think was the most twisted twist the show pulled off? Leave a comment, hit like, and stick around for more deep dives.